Ali and I met Jane Fonda when we were married. And Jane Fonda was an activist. And I loved the part of her being an activist. And I said, oh my God, this is great. So we had met Jane Fonda a long time ago. So when I went to California and Ali was doing The Greatest, I ran into Jane Fonda again. And she said, what are you doing? I says, oh, I'm living out here in California for a time because there's some things I want to do out here. And she said, well, we are working on, me and my husband, Tom Hayden, and Cesar Chavez was the farm workers. And I said, oh yeah, I says, you know what, they was giving $2 per day for 17 hours of work in the fields, and Chiquita Bananas, the guy that owned the cabbages that these people were working at, they owned by just Chiquita Banana people, same people, cabbage, bananas. And said, we're going to boycott them. Do you want to join us? I said, I would love to join you. So I joined Cesar Chavez, and we had a meeting with Cesar Chavez. A wonderful guy. He called me his sister. I call him my brother. And they say that because of the fact that I was Muhammad Ali's ex-wife, and that the fact that I have a little Indian in me, and part of that. He said, you have Native American in you. I said, yeah. I said, well, we got Mexicans over here, and they're Indians too, but we want to save our people. I said, would you like to help with? So I said, sure. So we passed out. My job was to pass out the pamphlets, and I had a lot of the black people in South Central passing out and made them join with us. So it really became very successful, and we boycotted Chiquita Bananas, and that boycott lasted for 40 years. 40 years. But during that time, it was very successful at the time, and they were shutting down they were shutting down Chiquita Bananas during the time I was there. And me and Cesar worked together, and it was very successful. And so Jane Fonda said, you know what, when you come back, I want you to help me with the solar energy. We're going to do a premiere for Julia, and I want you to help me with the premiere package. And I says, okay. So in the meantime, I'm sitting on the boat with Irwin Allen, who was doing the Poseidon Adventure, and we sat up there with the producer, Irwin Allen. He said, you like this? He said, this is great. I love making movies. I would like to make movies one day like you. He said, you probably will. And I met Jane Fonda. I saw Jane Fonda again. I went back out in California, and we worked on the solar energy. Usually premieres are very dull, boring. And this is in the 70s, 78, 77, like that. 78, 79, right in that era. So Jane Fonda and I had a meeting with all the rich Jewish girls and all the rich producer girls, Irwin Winkler and all these people, Ellen Alda and all, back in those days. And we had a list of everything we were supposed to get for the premiere. The palm trees and the the balls or whatever we had to get. And that Saturday, when it was time to put everything at the Beverly Hills Hotel, nobody showed up with anything. All the girls were doing the spa thing, they're doing their nails, they're doing their hair. Nobody showed up. Not one solitary rich person that was at that meeting. Not one but me. And I had a little 450 SL. I said, okay, Jane, don't worry about it. She said, I can't believe this. And I said, I'm going to take my car and I'll go get her the stuff that she's supposed to get. And I went down Melrose with a 450 SL with big palm trees in my car and going back and forth. I had my 8 trips from party stores and venues and custom places, back and forth. And all I had was blue jeans and a t-shirt. So, and it was 6 o'clock, Beverly Hills Hotel. It's time for the people to start coming in, and I was just putting everything on the table. And there was John Carradine and his family. There was like 8 of them. So I said, okay. I had name tables, I had name things on the table, the Bridges, the Carradines, you know, the Esteves, you know, the Martin Sheens, all that. So I was taking them in. I said, come on in. I took them in myself, set them at the table. Took them in, set them at the table with John Carradine, Keith Carradine, all the Bridges, Bo Bridges, Jeff Bridges, you know, all these people. Like the family groups came first. And I said, hey guys, and there was this classical music. I said, come on man, we got to pick up this music, man. Put on the Bee Gees or something. And I said, put on the Bee Gees. And they put on the Bee Gees. I said, come on, let's get up and dance. And I got everybody up and dance. And while I had got the Carradines up to dance and everything, and the Bridges up to dance, I was definitely with Jeff Bridges and Bo Bridges and all kind of Bridges. Everybody had a good time. They was partying. I said, this is where I sneak off and go get dressed. The premier was, they talked so much about how much fun they had. Jane Fonda said she's going to have a party for one of her best friends. And I said, I'll help you in that too. So Robert De Niro, somebody had Robert De Niro's kid, Troy. Little boy, bad kid. And she said, would you watch him for a few minutes? I said, yeah. Set him right there. I said, you know what? Don't start no stuff, don't be no stuff. I ain't taking none of your crap. So don't even think about it. He said, are we going to have an understanding? And he did not move. That kid did not move. Then I walked in with a little model young man guy named Bruce Bauer. And I said, yeah, you can walk in with me. Yeah, fine model. We're kidding. And I sat at the table and everything. And she got up and she started talking about this friend. She said, I wouldn't have had this if I wouldn't have had a successful party without this friend. I go, uh-oh. And she said, Khalilah Ali, this party's for you. I got up, I made my streets, oh my God. I said, yeah, it was tough because I was going back and forth. And she turned around and said to me, Jane said, I would love to do a movie with you one of these days. I love your energy. I love that. I said, well, you know how to reach me. You call me all the time. So she said, okay. So I said, oh my God. She's going to actually call me because she's a woman of her word. She has always been known as a woman of her word. So I called Dustin Hoffman and I asked Dustin, I said, you got to tell me who's the best acting teacher out here, man, because I got to get prepared. Jane Fonda's going to call me to do a movie with her. He said, well, if he's still alive, it would be Lee Strasberg. I said, Lee Strasberg, okay, cool. So I'm looking up Lee Strasberg and find out, bing, there's a Lee Strasberg Institute right in Hollywood, right down from my apartment. So I go in there to learn the acting, but that's a long story. To make a long story short, I got coached by Lee Strasberg directly at the Lee Strasberg Institute. I met Maximilian Schell. I was babysitting for my best friend, Marceline Boyd. Oh, that baby was the one I was babysitting, Angela Jolie. I changed her diaper. So I go, oh man, I did meet Angela Jolie, but if she was a baby, she was a baby then. So I did all of that, and I went to Chicago, and I got a call from Jane Fonda saying, come down here, we're doing a movie called Eyewitness. And by the time we start, you know, she showed me to come in to see the director, James Bridges. And James Bridges says, and so why would you want to do this movie? Why do you want to be in this movie? I said, because I've learned a little bit about acting, and Jane Fonda asked me to be in it, and the best thing you could do is put me in it, because that'll be the best movie you ever made, because I can do this. So the best movie you can be, hire me, and I'll be in. I already knew I had it, but I had to go through a process so she can teach me.